Hello, my name is Fayaz from Nintendo Players UK, and I'm here with GandaKris. Have I pronounced that correctly, just to make sure?
Yes, you did. You got it right.
Yay! So, for those of you who don't know who Miss GandaKris is, she is a custom amiibo specialist, but she does many other things as well. But today we're going to be talking about that. So, would you like to introduce yourself and more about what you do?
Yes, of course. I am GandaKris. My real name is Christine. I customized Amiibo for about 2 years now. And yeah, I just love making characters that you wouldn't really see into Amiibo form. And then I also teach everyone how to make their own. So that's what I do.
Do you do it on your YouTube channel, I assume?
Yes, I do. I do like a ton of tutorials and all that good stuff. So.
All right, we're gonna have to have a look at that at the end of this, so we can do some ourselves. So where did it where did it all begin for you? What was the first? I guess to keep it relevant, what was the first Nintendo game that you'd played?
Okay, so the first Nintendo game that I played was on the Game Boy Color, and I believe that was Pokemon. I'm trying to remember another game that I've played, but right now the only thing pops up is the Game Boy Color, and me and my sister shared it, which was really hard because trying to share one small handheld console with like your two other sisters, it's definitely like a battle. But I loved it. It was definitely creating memories with my sisters that I hold dear. So Nintendo is like a huge thing for me.
Which Pokemon did you start off with? As in which game?
I think it was Pokemon
You said
Yellow.
Game of Colors.
Mhm.
Yellow. Oh,
So,
the
mhm.
the
Yeah.
I remember starting off at Pokemon Blue, and I actually had a very similar background. Me and my brother shared that. We played Pokemon Blue for the first time, and we were actually like taking turns to beat the next gym. How did you go about it?
Actually, I think me and my sister, my younger sister, just liked watching our older sister play once in a while. So it's kind of like that backseat, I guess, view. But we would definitely like, be like, oh, okay, maybe we should nickname this Pokemon or capture that Pokemon. We definitely give suggestions and stuff, and then sometimes we jump in. But it was fun. I absolutely loved it. I could watch my older sister play all day, and I definitely love to jump in too. I think another game that I do remember playing the most for sure was Animal Crossing on the GameCube. That one, me and my sisters absolutely love playing like every single day. So that's also a fun game.
I guess today is like a really good day for you then.
Yeah, I know. Animal Crossing came out on mobile, which it was like a day earlier or early, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yes, it was a little earlier than expected. Yes,
Hmm.
we did a short little article about one of the writers on our site. Decided to jump in early and became a resident. So if you want to read that after this interview, sure, go for it. It's on the Nintendo Play
Check it
2K
out.
website.
Yeah, it's unexpected for sure. I didn't think it was going to be released today. And then next thing you know, all over Twitter, everyone's playing Animal Crossing. So I was like, wow.
So you've done amiibo customization for over 2 years. What sort of inspired you to do this? Where did the journey begin for you to do amiibo customizing?
So amazingly, the journey started way back in high school. I was really quiet back then, and I joined my video game club at the school, and that's where I actually met a lot of my friends that I'm currently still friends with, which is awesome. But I actually made a lot of friends there, and I also took a lot of art classes at the same time. So it was really easy for me to integrate video games and clay. So I did actually make the first amiibo before they actually were amiibos, amazingly, and it was just really cool to kind of see that, where it's just like, oh man, like I made an amiibo before they're actually a thing. So yeah, when I joined my video game club in high school, like I just got so many requests when it came to like making figurines and stuff, and I made my first Kirby in ceramics class. And then when Amiibo came out, it was just really easy for me to integrate both of like my clay and Amiibo. It's just a lot easier than having to start from scratch. So it all started in high school.
When was high school for you? Like,
um
what year was that exactly?
I graduated '09.
Wow.
Mhm.
How many years have you predated?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and it's funny because like when I did ceramics, I would never really do the assignments that my teacher told me to do. I would just fool around and make whatever I wanted, and she kind of gave up and was just like, "Go ahead, do your own thing." So I do remember making my first Kirby out of like ceramics clay, and that clay like you need to fire in a kiln and it has to be like 300 degrees and it's like insane. And when I graduated, I was just like, well, how am I going to continue making figurines if I can't go to high school anymore? So I researched, well, you know, there's other materials that you can use at home. So polymer clay and then you have like air drying clay that you can use. So it just went from there. And when Amiibo came out, it was just a lot easier for me because then I'm not starting from scratch, you know, so it's just me really adding things to the figurine. There are times where I do have to start from scratch, but most of the time it's just really me really keeping the base of the amiibo and then just adding to it. So
Oh, okay. Well, you kind of answered one of the other questions that comes later on now, but
oh no.
we'll go back to that. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. So, which was the first official? Well, what was the first official customized amiibo for you? I see here that there's a link, but was there another one before that one?
Yes, and it's really funny because I have a really good friend of mine who lives in Japan, and I came from Melee, so going from like Melee to Brawl to Smash 4, I didn't really transfer over to Smash 4 too much. I really loved Brawl and Melee, but you know they were coming out with these amiibos, and my main character is Pikachu. So my friend actually had bought me my very first amiibo, which was Pikachu. He sent it over, and I was just like, you know what? I think I can like decorate this Pikachu because my boyfriend loves the Flash. So I thought it was really perfect to kind of fit Pikachu and the Flash together. So I had put him in the Flash outfit with like the lightning bolt in the middle, and then the stuff in his ears, and yeah, it just went off from there. So the first one I customized was a Pikachu.
That's well, it makes sense. Volt tackle is a very flashy move. Get
Yeah.
it?
I call him Pika Flash or something like that. I forgot the name that I gave him, but
Barry Allen Chew?
Very Allen Chew. That would work too. So I thought it was pretty cute. But I mean, it wasn't my best work, and it's funny because everyone's just like, "Oh, your work is amazing," but I always tell people that I did not start off that way. They were horrible at the beginning. So
How long did it take exactly? Like how many tries did it take for you before you got to Pika Flash?
Actually, Pika Flash was my first one, and it was a learning experience because for me, I wasn't using the right paint that I should have. I didn't conceal it the way it would look, you know, presentable. It was definitely a trial and error for me, and by the end of it, I wasn't completely happy with the way that it looked, but you know, practice makes perfect, so you just learn along the way. You really do. And that's why I tell everyone to take the first leap. You know, don't be scared to try it because you're just gonna learn new techniques, you know, as long as you keep going. So
Okay. So Pika Flash was the very first one, but you've made plenty of others over the last 2 to 3 years. What inspires some of your crossovers? Your crossover amiibo.
well, you know, I actually get a lot of suggestions from my fan base. I get a lot of suggestions from my friends and family. A lot of crossovers, though. I don't know. They just pop in my head because I always say that my mind is running at like 1,000 miles per hour. It never like knows when to just rest. So there's always ideas popping in my head, and I tend to like try to write them down. Or if I'm really inspired, I will like start it right there and then, and keep going until I finish it, which sometimes is like me having late nights. But yeah, just a lot of crossovers comes from like just ideas that I get from my friends, or just things that just pop in my head. Because me and like Pokemon and like the whole fandom, like it's my childhood, and there's just a lot of fond memories that I can go off by. So I'll tend to do a lot of crossovers where it's like, let's see, where it's like Batman and some of the Pokemon. So I'll choose like Gengar for like the Joker, or for Bane I'll do like Machamp. It's just a lot of things that just pop in my head. Some of them are pretty crazy, but some of them they work out. They tend to work out a lot better than I would have imagined. So.
Oh, that's quite the experience, actually. That was quite a ride to listen to. Gengar's Joker. I never thought of that one, to be fair. Never thought of putting them two together. What's been your favorite one to make so far? I know it sounds like picking your best children at this point and your favorite children at this point, but I have to ask. Which one's your favorite to work on, or which one's been your most enjoyable experience to work on?
Well, I have two for sure that and I love them for different reasons. So one that I like to make is Armored Mewtwo, and that's from the Pokemon movie, and it's when he's in that like little capsule and he has like all that armor as well, and like that's my favorite one just because of all the details that it could add. So I tend to add like broken glass to make it look like he's still in that container. I tend to add wire that's like floating, and I even added a few of his Pokeballs from the movie as well. So that one is like my favorite just because it's really not that hard, but you can add so much detail, and you know, it's something that you can definitely present in your home where it's like it's not just an amiibo, it's a figurine. So that's one of my favorite ones. Another one that I like to make is the Iwata custom amiibo, and the reason why, yeah, that one is my favorite one, and it's because like, I know a lot of people love it. I know he was just an amazing human being for all of his accomplishments during the time he was here on Earth, you know, and to have influenced so many people in this world. I mean, that's such an opportunity, you know, and he's definitely touched a lot of lives. So I love to make this one for many reasons, just because I don't sell it. I tend to give it away or donate it to a lot of charities. So it raises a lot of money for certain, you know, issues, such as like Child's Play, which is an organization that gives video games to kids in the hospital. And you have like St. Jude, so it's cool because then it's like even though he's no longer here on Earth, he's still making a difference, an impact, you know. So that's why I really, really like that one and cherish that one a lot.
It's a really sweet story. I really appreciate that one, to be fair. And thank you very much for making that one. So I've got a few questions that have been asked by the fans. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Oh no, I was just like I was doing like a nice awe moment, because it's definitely like I love to hear people's feedback and to know that I'm doing something right, you know, and for me the end goal has always been to make an impact with my art, you know, even if it's small or gigantic, it still gives me a reason to keep going. So for you to have I guess confirmed that I'm on the right path is definitely heartwarming.
I did see it earlier on your Insta, and it's just like it enhanced the experience more, just knowing the reasoning behind it. So I'm sure a lot of the people in the UK would appreciate listening to it as well. With that being said, like I said, I was going to say there was a few questions. All these questions, to be fair, are fan given, or at least given from the community of our ends. So if you do want to like interject, or if there's anything you want to ask. So one of the questions I got asked to ask you specifically is that are there any amiibo you'd love to see that aren't currently available?
Yeah, there's a ton. There's so many amiibos that I would love to be able to put my hands on, to be honest. But one that I've always wanted was Gino. I thought he was such an awesome character, like his development and his story. Another one that I would have loved to see is Ridley. I know that thing would be huge, but I think it'd be really awesome to have displayed just because of all the detail that they could possibly add on Ridley. There's just a ton. There's so many.
You've made a Gino and a Ridley yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. I have, yeah. I would love to see an official one, though.
I know, it's like you've already made the dream come true for a lot of people on that one.
Well, you know what? I feel
how
bad sometimes, just because, like, I get so many requests and I get so many people who want one that, like, if I can clone myself and put myself in the basement and just work on Amiibo all day, just so people can have their own Amiibo, I would. But I'm only one person, so it's really hard, and I feel so bad when people want something and I just can't give it to them.
Nah,
So.
I mean, you do a great job as it is, and to be fair, it's like it's special when someone does receive it. I'm sure.
No, thank you.
Because you. With that being said, is there a custom Amiibo holy grail? So if there was one without restraint, without remorse, or without what's the dream custom Amiibo for you?
Oh man, that one's hard. Okay, let's see. I definitely have to put some thought into this one, and I'm trying to pick one that I haven't made, and it's really hard.
Yeah, I could tell you made 2 years is a long time.
I made so many, yeah, and it's just like I'm trying to really think of one. I guess, if I had to, I would love like an official Cappy Mario. I really truly would love an official Cappy Mario one. And I know I've made that one, but like I think it'd be really cool to have Cappy, because Cappy's like one of the main characters in Mario Odyssey, and they have the Amiibo line, but Cappy's not in it, and I would definitely love to see an official Cappy Mario. So that would be awesome. Or like one of his forms, one of the things that he captures. So like maybe the frog in Cappy or something like that. So definitely that one for sure.
Of course it'd be the frog.
Yeah, that would be so
be the frog.
Cute. Dude, I love the frog. No joke, when I captured him the first time, I was so shocked at how high he can jump, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, it's so adorable. And I love it when like you capture something and you go through that tunnel view and like you can see like him kind of combining with the frog. It was just the cutest thing that I saw, and I was just like, that one's so adorable. So, and I haven't made that one, so maybe eventually I'll make that one. We'll see.
To be fair, technically, didn't you make one of the custom Amiibo? Because it was showcased. I think it was showcased, or at least we've seen it. In a way, the T-Rex Mario.
I did, Amiibo. Yeah. Yeah, that one, so I did make.
Do you want to explain the process on that one for me? Because I would think that's pretty much it, wouldn't it? The Cappy Mario that we'd probably want. How did you make that one anyway? Because that's not an Amiibo I've seen. I've not seen a base like that. So how did you go about this one?
Actually, that one's really easy. So I started a YouTube channel teaching a lot of people how to make custom Amiibos, and I realized that a lot of the tutorials can be really hard, especially for those that are just beginners. So I actually made the T-Rex one in the sense of, okay, if I'm a beginner, how can I make my own custom Amiibo and not have it be so frustrating, So the T-Rex one is so easy. Again, it's on my YouTube, but it really is just a figurine that I had gotten off online, repainted, and then I just added the felt for the mustache and the clay for the hat. So that one's really easy, that a lot of people can make, and it's definitely a nice way to jump into customizing for sure.
Yeah, that answers my later question anyway. But you're really getting ahead of me.
Oh no!
You're anticipating all my questions.
I'm psychic.
Clearly, clearly the time difference and the 9 hours difference isn't keeping you behind.
I know. Aren't you ahead though? You're in the future, right? Or you're in the future, I think.
I'm in the future, and yet you're still keeping up. You are a with that being said, one of the questions I got, since one of the people from the future has asked me if Amiibo could have other functionality, like light up lightsabers from Disney Infinity, what would you like to see?
Oh man, Let's see. I would definitely love costume changes, for sure. In a sense of like, if they do come out with, like, let's say, like, Super Smash Bros. Or whatever, it would be awesome. For example, like the Mewtwo Amiibo, if they came out with an armored Mewtwo, I would love to see that in like the new Super Smash Bros. All these different like costume changes and stuff. For example, I would also love to see like the T-Rex, right? If they actually came out with a T-Rex, I would love to have that spawn and just ride that T-Rex all day in Mario Odyssey. That would be amazing. Just to have him spawn anytime. There's just a lot of things that I can't really think of right now, but
I guess what the question's trying to allude to is something a little more physical rather than something more digital. So they were thinking like as a figure. Imagine the amiibo as an actual functioning, effectively a functioning toy in some sort.
Oh, in real life?
What would you? Yes.
No, a T-Rex. I would love to ride a T-Rex in real life. I mean, that would be amazing. Let's be real. I would park that thing everywhere, and I would like dress him up. It'd be the cutest thing in the world. I would love to ride a T-Rex in life. Now I love this question. This is my favorite question. I mean, that would be awesome. And then, I mean, I would probably walk around in an armored Mewtwo. I mean, in all his like dressies. That would be pretty crazy too. Oh, I love this question. I can go all day in this question. I mean, but for sure, I love the T-Rex. Or at least spawn a Pikachu and then have him like follow me everywhere, instead of having a dog, I guess. Pikachu's way better. Oh my gosh, whoever sent that in, thank you. That's like the best question. I love that one.
And I don't have the heart. I'm going to the next question.
Just wait. Eventually, you see me one day going down the street in a T-Rex. It'll be amazing.
Oh, but like, how did you park that thing? How does it even stay still?
I know. Can
Why
you imagine?
did you?
Oh my gosh.
Where did you park the Mewtwo?
I don't know if I can take him to the dog park. To be honest, he'd probably scare all the dogs.
You'll probably want to be the greatest dog trainer of all time.
Oh man.
And the greatest dog.
Yeah.
That's how Mewtwo rolls. Mega Mewtwo, the pupper.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cute. Ugh.
Oh no, it would be Mega Mewtwo in his, I think, his Pokemon Y form. So sorry, Pokemon X form. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speed, but like, yeah. I'll be fetch Mewtwo. All right, right. What do you want next? Get me a croissant. Sure.
It'll be floating towards me. Can you feed me? Just feed it in my mouth. I don't have to touch it.
Oh my god. We're going to be a slight tangent now.
All the things. I would be an evil Pokemon trainer from what it sounds like.
I don't think you'd be an evil Pokemon trainer. I'm more confused by the logic of I'm going to park this T-Rex. That's it. Like I lost it there. So you're gonna park your Pikachu, your Mewtwo, your T-Rex. Oh, go on that one.
That'd be so interesting. That'd be an amazing life. I would love that.
I think that would just be too many Mewtwo's, and probably think the end of the world would come sooner.
Probably, yeah. I would be at the store at least buying 10 T-Rexes so I can keep them all in my lawn. Have an army. It'd be crazy.
It reminds me of Chris Pratt.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I actually did like a picture of that too, like a little meme of it, because I had made like 3 T-Rex Amiibos, and then I had Mario stand there and hold them off. It was very interesting. So
interesting, maybe.
Maybe.
I want to see a real life version of this. I want to see a real life version of this.
It's okay, I got you. Eventually, when technology catches up.
Yes, you'll suddenly, when Pixar didn't happen. That's the that's the rule right now. Okay, so massive tangent apart.
We can edit that out. It's okay.
I'm keeping it in. It's staying.
Perfect.
I think this has totally gone into like podcast territory.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I guess you've already answered this a few times, and you've probably answered this on your YouTube channel completely a bajillion amount of times too. But for those 8 hours ahead of you, If some people wanted to follow in your footsteps, what materials, paints do you recommend? Or where do you recommend they begin? Like the absolute positive beginning, where would you think they should start? Aside from watching your videos, because we know they're going to do that.
Well, one thing that I tell people before they jump in is to have confidence. You really have to be in that mindset where it's like, you're going to attempt it. It's your first try. So if you do fail, don't be so hard on yourself. Because I feel like when people judge themselves so harshly, they tend to quit, and that's what I don't want to see, is people jumping in, not getting the result that they wanted, and then just stopping from there. So have a lot of confidence before jumping in. Do your research on a lot of materials. So the materials that I tend to use that are really good for paint, like this is the perfect thing that you can possibly use for paint, because I don't suggest acrylic paint where it's like you buy from your local grocery store or like Walmart or something, because I don't know if you guys have like Walmart in the UK, but yeah, so I wouldn't go there. I would definitely go to a craft store, and the paint that I personally use is Vallejo, and they are known for figurines, so like Warhammer. You can use them on any surface, and it sticks really well. You could prime it if you really wanted to, but you don't have to, which is perfect. And you can actually handle the figurine after you paint it in Vallejo paint. So Vallejo's really good. I would do a lot more research on that. So, because there's a lot more companies. So Chidel is also another well-known figurine paint company. And then the clay that I tend to use, there's two different types. So one is polymer clay, which you can actually use at home. You can just heat it up in your oven, which I don't really suggest. I do want people to get their own oven that's made for polymer clay. Even though it says non-toxic, I would definitely still go the safe route. So get your own polymer clay oven, which they do have. You can get it at your local craft store. And they will have also a whole section of different types of polymer clay. And there's a ton. So it all comes down to preference, because some polymer clays are a lot softer than others. And then there's ones that are hard, but it'll keep the detail a lot more. So again, it's all about preference and testing out which clay you prefer. So the clays that I prefer, though, is Super Sculpey, and that's like my go-to polymer clay. So I'll tend to use that on certain accessories of the Amiibo. And again, I just heat that up with either the oven, or you can use a heat gun, or a paint stripper is what it's called in Home Depot or like a lot of hardware stores. And another clay that I use that's really for stability is called Aves. And that one is a 2-part resin. So what you're doing is you're grabbing 2 equal parts and then fusing them together. And you have a working period of about 2 hours before it hardens like cement. So that is really good for making sure that the figurine lasts for a long time. And it really fuses pieces together. So you don't have to be too scared of like handling the figurine later down the road. So those are a lot of the materials that I use. That's a good way to start customizing. So I know it's a lot of information, but
It is. But I'm sure they'll find more information on your YouTube, I assume, or sources there. So
yeah, and I do link all the materials and stuff and where they can get it. So hopefully it makes it a lot easier.
All right. Before we sign off, I wanted to just quickly ask, so we've had 2 very big games this year, but I'm gonna just ask, what's been your favorite Nintendo Switch title so far?
Ooh, okay, so one that I like that's like I guess like multiplayer that I don't think gets enough love is Snipper Clips. I love Snipper Clips. I think it's so cute to like work together as a team to try to solve these puzzles. So I love Snipper Clips, but if I had to choose one of like the major titles, I mean Mario Odyssey. Like if I had to choose versus like Breath of the Wild, I love Mario Odyssey. Not to diminish Breath of the Wild, because it's great in its own, game, but I mean Mario Odyssey is just amazing. And when I got to play it at E3 and then now that I have a copy of it, I can't stop like not playing it. You know, it's really hard for me to put it down. And I think it's an amazing game, and I'm just so happy for Nintendo for all their success this year. You know, so Mario Odyssey is just so good. It's such a good game.
All right then. That's been a lot longer than I was expecting.
Sorry. I love to talk. I'm telling you, we can just, even past this podcast, I love to talk games to everyone. And, I sometimes I think I talk too much, but.
Nah, it's great. It's great. We'd love to have you back sometime in a more podcasty format than, as provided time zones ain't more of an issue as usual.
Oh, I know. I felt so bad. I was like, I know it's nighttime there, so.
It's fine. It's fine. We worked it out in the end.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, I think we'll end it here. Just in case, where can people find you, Miss GandaKris, and what social medias?
All right. So I use, I think, 3 main social media. So it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. But those are the ones that I use. If you really want to learn, go to my YouTube. I update Twitter a lot, so you can follow me on Twitter. And if anyone makes anything, like crafts or Nintendo related, I love art. Send it to me. I would love to share with others, art on my social media, because I love to help other artists and any other customizers out there too. So.
All right, then. You can follow us at Nintendo Players UK on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter at Nintendo Play UK. And, of course, you can follow us on Instagram as well at Nintendo Players UK. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I hope to see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoy this. This has been the first one that I've been holding. So if you want to see more, please do not hesitate to let us know. And in the meantime, thank you very much for listening and joining in.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.